We all rely on farmers and ranchers, but farming is riskier than other businesses out there. Crop insurance helps farmers manage their risk. With crop insurance, farmers put skin in the game by paying premiums and shouldering deductibles. That keeps taxpayers from having to pick up the whole bill every time disaster strikes. Today, about 90% of U.S. farmland is insured, providing $100 billion in protection to more than 130 different kinds of crops. It's a testament to the program's success.
Thank you for joining us for our Agri-Pulse Washington Week in Review. I'm Spencer Chase, joined as always by Agri-Pulse's Phil Brasher, discussing the week that was, agriculturally speaking, in Washington, D.C. And in Washington, D.C. this week, we saw some further developments on something we've been watching for quite a while, and that is the Department of Agriculture responding to an executive order from President Joe Biden, really asking them to kind of detail some of the various things that they could do in relation to things that are already on the books in advancing climate-smart agriculture. And Phil, I know you had a chance to speak with Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack this week about this report. What can you tell us about what the department has found and what they included in this report?
Well, it's the report really sort of outlines, and I emphasize the word outlines, not a lot of specifics in terms of proposals here, specific steps that the department is going to take, but it outlines the priorities as they move forward in addressing climate change, and specifically in building out and expanding what they call climate smart agriculture. It's conservation practices like cover crops, low tillage, in order to conserve carbon, reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The first thing that jumps out at you, very first item on the list, it really is identifying and measuring, assessing the impact of practices. It's very important for farmers, both as they're trying to decide what to do and determine what could qualify for future payments, credits, and that kind of thing. So that's certainly the emphasis. There's a lot of talk in there about making sure that all farmers, including early adopters, including minority producers, small scale producers, can participate in some way and benefit from this effort to address climate change. But those are two of the two top line messages. No mention whatsoever of carbon bank, or those words carbon bank. The emphasis is on private voluntary credit markets and helping to facilitate those on the part of USDA.
Well, and Phil, we also saw this week, a report from the Farm Journal Foundation touching on some of these very same subjects. We heard from some leaders on Capitol Hill. You've been covering this for a while. It seems to me that the ball is certainly rolling on some of this, and this outline that you mentioned could be, it doesn't seem to me that it's out of the question that we'll see some broader specifics on some of this language sometime soon.
We could. We're really, in many ways, kind of looking ahead to the 2023 Farm Bill. That's one thing that Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack made clear, that they have that as their goal, and sort of developing toward that goal. That, of course, the new Farm Bill is due in 2023, so a couple of years away yet, but a lot of preparation going on before then. One thing that's interesting is the chairwoman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, Debbie Stabenow, is seeking a substantial increase in conservation funding in order to carry out these priorities that the department has laid out. However, the ranking Republican on the committee, John Bozeman, yesterday was emphatic that he was very concerned that the act of putting this money, passing this money as part of an infrastructure package, if Republicans are not involved in that, could have the effect of basically writing a substantial part of the next Farm Bill, even though you're not actually writing the bill itself, presumably in the way that money is set up and structured.
So obviously that's something we're going to be keeping an eye on as the Department of Agriculture, as Capitol Hill kind of thinks their way through climate smart agriculture policy and what's to come on that front. But want to also keep you up to date on something else that we saw this week, just today, Friday here, as a matter of fact, and that is the Department of Agriculture working to implement the payments required for socially disadvantaged farmers as part of earlier coronavirus relief legislation passed by the House and Senate earlier this year. Phil, what do we know about who is getting these payments and when they might expect them?
Well, they say they are going to start making these payments in June. For farmers who have direct USDA loans, farmers with guaranteed loans also will qualify for this assistance, but they're moving ahead first with those farmers who have direct loans. They'll get the loans will be paid off, their indebtedness will be paid off. They will get a payment for an additional 20% to cover the taxes and any fees associated with the debt relief. This was all authorized and actually mandated by the American Rescue Plan, that last big coronavirus relief bill that was enacted back in March.
So obviously that was something that was very key in that coronavirus relief legislation. A lot of people keeping a very close eye on those payments, the recipients and the distribution of those payments. We've got a story up on that on agripulse.com now. Would encourage you to stop by, check that out, as well as stay tuned for further developments. Before we let you go this week, did want to keep you posted on a development this week that we saw within the cattle industry on Monday. We saw a joint statement from a number of groups that had taken part in a closed-door meeting, kind of outlining some of the things that they're looking for within the cattle industry. And folks that follow cattle politics know that some semblance of unity out of some of these groups is a bit of a rarity. And so they were able to work toward that. The point now comes to a lot of these groups needing to sort of put a finer point to their ask. At this point, they're going back to their respective organizations, looking to iron out what specifically they're looking for. Things like increasing processing capacity. What exactly does that look like, and what is the the administration and Congress's role in that? The difference in treatments between the formula prices as well as cash prices in cattle buying, as well as looking for the creation of a contract library. What we're hearing from Capitol Hill is that there was a little bit of frustration among some members of Congress, some staffers looking for a bit of unity and some semblance of organization from the industry, basically requesting a unified ask. And so industry looking at putting that together at this point. Again, this is a situation where we have a story on agripulse.com that goes a lot deeper into some of these details. I would encourage you to stop by and check that out. But a number of things going on in the grand scheme of farm policy right now, from climate to those socially disadvantaged payments to some behind the scenes negotiations on livestock policy. But we will be sure to keep you up to date on that and more at agripulse.com. Not only this week, but in the weeks that follow, as Congress looks to kind of pick things up as they typically do in June and July in a non-election year. It should be an interesting couple of months here leading up to that August recess. But I think that's going to do it for this week. So for Phil Brasher, I'm Spencer Chase. Have a good one.